A newborn baby just born was unexpectedly thrown into the sewer pipe. Moments ago, a neighbor called the emergency hotline, claiming to hear a baby crying inside the wall. Firefighters rushed to the scene, listening carefully. In the next second, a man sprang into action. He marked the wall, indicating the baby's location, and they slowly peeled away the wall. With caution, they sawed open the sewer pipe and, shining a flashlight, discovered the baby's head. Gently placing the metal pipe on the ground, they cut off the excess parts, and the man took out lubricating oil from his toolkit, applying it to the baby's head and feet. Then he inserted his hand at the bottom and started pushing, slowly, until the baby was successfully rescued. However, the baby seemed to have stopped breathing. The man immediately performed CPR, but seeing no effect, he started administering oxygen to the baby. During the oxygen supply, he noticed unknown objects in the baby's mouth. Finally, using his pinky finger, the man removed the obstruction from the baby's mouth, and the baby was successfully saved. Man called 911, crying out that his dogs attacked him at home. However, the female officer rushed to a breakfast shop and returned with 4 mouth-watering hamburgers. Meanwhile, the rescue team arrived, witnessing the man retaliating with a showerhead against the mischievous dogs. The team intervened, knowing that it would only anger the dogs.
Stand still, stand still. The more activity they see, the more excited they're gonna get, okay? And don't look them in the eyes, that's a challenge.
Just then, the female officer came to the rescue. She tossed 2 hamburgers like a pro to distract the dogs and slyly threw the other 2 into a room, tempting them inside and securing the man's safety. As the animal management folks took the dog away, the officer sensed something fishy. Another man appeared and inquired about what happened. It turned out that he was the real owner, and the previous man was a thief.
You'll be happy to know they've been fed and they're safe. Problem is, you've been burglarized, and I let him get away.
The female officer was infuriated and vowed to catch the thief. The girl's tongue blew up like crazy. Her bestie was shocked at first glance, hastily asked what she had consumed. She suspected almond milk in the coffee triggered an allergy. She quickly inquired if the cafe had some adrenaline. Indeed, they had it. She took it and jabbed it into the girl's thigh. Strangely, the girl's symptoms didn't ease up. Instead, her tongue grew even larger. Breathing was a struggle. The woman dialed 911.
911, what's your emergency?
The operator, based on her description, concluded it wasn't an allergy, but facial swelling due to stress. Meanwhile, the girl went into shock. Time was needed for the rescue team to arrive, so the operator had to guide the friend over the phone, instructing her to use a spoon to press down on the tongue, then inserting a straw into the throat. Yet, despite doing all this, the girl still didn't regain her breath. A man nearby, witnessing the situation, stepped in. He firmly pinched her face, inducing a sensation of pain. Finally, the girl woke up from unconsciousness, and right at that moment, the rescue team arrived at the scene. The boy was trembling in the closet, for his father was out to kill him.
Can't hide from me. Where the hell are you?
The operator was shocked. Just then, the man started talking.
What did you do with my son, you son of a bitch?
The man didn't seem to recognize the boy. She suspected the man had a mental disorder. She told the boy to find a room with a lock and hide. But as soon as the boy came out of the closet, he ran into his father, who had returned. In a panic, the boy locked himself in the bathroom. The man kept pounding on the door from
I will
outside.
break this door down!
Tell me what's happening.
Meanwhile, a colleague found out the man had been in a car accident a few days ago. His wife had died on the spot, and he had suffered a severe head injury. The operator understood. She called the man's phone and had the boy talk to his father.
Duncan, is that you, son?
Yeah, Dad, it's me.
Where are you?
I'm in the bathroom.
He's got you in there?
No, I'm the only one in here.
I don't understand.
Turns out, the man had Capgras syndrome, a visual disorder caused by the head injury. This condition made him believe that his loved ones had been replaced by imposters.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it certainly sounds crazy, but it is true.
The sound of that loved one's voice is the only thing that could snap them out of it. But in order for it to work, they have to be completely out of their line of sight.
The girl kept a snake as a pet, but ended up being constricted, unable to breathe. She quickly called 911 for help. When the firefighters arrived, they were taken aback by the room filled with snakes, with small ones in a cabinet, and the big one used as a scarf. The girl, constricted by the python, could no longer breathe, her blood pressure and heartbeat dropping rapidly. The captain attempted to pry the python off with his hands, but the python's pressure was like 50 pounds, making it impossible to remove it barehanded. A team member suggested killing the snake directly, but the girl vehemently opposed. This was her beloved pet. After all, as the group hesitated, the python began to exert more force, tightening its grip. Seeing this, the handsome guy couldn't wait any longer. He grabbed a fire axe and swung it down, ending the python's life. He crouched down and removed the snake's body for the girl. She looked at his handsome face without anger, as if implying something.
Oh my god, I can't see. Oh, I can't see. Help me! Call 911!
911, what's your emergency?
Firefighters immediately sprung into action, but the woman couldn't see and open the door. The captain just broke the door down, while the team medic held the woman's eyes open, discovering a green film-like layer over her pupils.
What was that?
Suddenly, they saw something moving in her eyes.
Something like a worm?
Oh god, I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna throw up. I need a worm get in my eye.
They grabbed a pair of tweezers. A worm was plucked out, then a dozen or 20 more, one after another. The woman was about to puke, but luckily, she could see clearly again. Turns out, she's into yoga. Used a yoga pose called goat press 4 planking. A parasite from the goat got into her eyes, feeding on her tears and laying eggs inside her eyes. The hot lady got up from the bed. Her facial skin suddenly fell down. It happened just now. The woman had gone for a cosmetic surgery procedure. She quickly lost consciousness under the effect of anesthesia, but when she woke up from her stupor, she found all the doctors had collapsed on the ground, unconscious. She called 911 immediately. To ensure safety, firefighters wore gas masks as they entered the hospital. The entire hospital was eerily quiet. Following the woman's cries, the firefighters soon located the operating table. Just as she was trying to sit up, her facial skin suddenly fell down, blocking her eyes. A paramedic helped her flip her skin back and promptly applied cold compresses. The firefighters realized the doctors had only passed out. The captain spotted a ruptured anesthesia pipeline within the wall and speculated it had caused the leakage of anesthesia gas. The woman didn't lose consciousness because she was breathing through an oxygen tube. As expected, they found a fainted construction worker who had been affected as well. He had fainted right on top of a circular saw. They had to carry him away along with the saw blade. In the end, the woman and the maintenance worker were both rescued together. This was the chubby guy's first time on a roller coaster. Suddenly the safety bar came loose, causing his friend to be thrown out instantly. The roller coaster stopped at the highest point of the track, while the man was left hanging in midair. Seeing this, other visitors quickly whipped out their phones, ready for him to fall. Staff immediately called 911. The firefighters arrived immediately. They raised the ladder for rescue, but the fire truck ladder had height limitations, so the handsome guy had to climb by hand. Reaching the man's location, he secured himself and instructed the man to extend his arm through the rescue rope, but the man was terrified and wouldn't let go. The handsome guy reached out, asking him to hold on and reassuring him everything would be fine. However, the distraught man said he couldn't do it. Then, out of nowhere, the man suddenly let go. Afterward, the handsome guy was haunted by the man's death, even questioning his own rescue ability to the point where he needed help from a psychologist. The boy was trapped in the barn. Flowing corn grains caused him to sink deeper. The 911 swiftly arrived at the scene. Firefighters climbed to the top of the barn using a ladder, instructing the boy not to make any sudden moves. They placed stepping boards and reached his side. Securing a collar around the boy, they inserted several isolation panels to create a barrier, separating the flowing corn. They then employed a suction device to extract the corn grains. Suddenly, the safety rope fastened to the woman gave way. She fell into the barn. The man nearby couldn't reach her, no matter how hard they tried. Then he removed his own safety rope, urgently grabbing hold of the sinking woman. However, both of them ended up being pulled down together. The captain promptly reported the situation. Outside, firefighters started cutting through the barn's exterior. On this side, the captain instructed the boy to prepare and await his commands. As the barn's wall was being breached, he gave the signal, and the boy took a deep breath. The stored grains inside the barn surged forth. 3 of them were successfully propelled out by the rushing corn, narrowly escaping the ordeal. The man convulsed uncontrollably with an electric wire on his hand. Sensing the urgency, the woman swiftly grabbed a wooden plank and began jabbing at random, but it was clear her efforts were in vain. The wire clung to his hand as if glued. So, she started tapping gently, a tap to the left, followed by 2 to the right. Afraid that her strikes might not be enough to end his suffering, miraculously, her determined hits worked. The man's convulsions finally ceased. The woman dialed 911. The doctor observed the man's blood pressure and heart rate were normal, quite unlike the expected aftermath of an electric shock. This left everyone puzzled. After a thorough examination, they discovered the man had a few broken ribs and several abrasions on his arms. There were also scrapes on both sides of his abdomen. It was evident these injuries were intentionally inflicted. The woman hastened to provide an explanation. Strangely, there were no burn marks on the man's hands. The wire on the ground wasn't even connected to a power source. Turns out, the man had suffered an epileptic seizure rather than got an electric shock. The man was promptly transported to the hospital. The woman was overwhelmed with regret.